Hello everyone, this is Red Robot, and today the terrible tactic is Assassination of the highest degree. And basically, we're abusing the third degree, a weapon that I've meant to talk about for a long time, a weapon that I really love. It's got a really unique stat, and that is hits all players connected by medigun beams. And that's basically it. It's got no downsides, nothing. Just hits everyone connected by medigun beams. And what does that really mean? Well, basically it means that the third degree will do 65 damage on a normal swing, right? That's the standard melee weapon damage. But if someone is being healed, you'll do 65 to them, and 65 to everyone connected by a beam. So that could be 65 times 2, so 130, or even times 3, 195, that's as much as a crit. And if you crit with your third degree, that will be 195 plus 195, I don't even know how much that is, but it's a lot. So basically this weapon can put out a ton of damage. But the situation in which it puts out damage is pretty rare. You have to hit someone that's connected by a medigun beam. But when you think about it, that's not actually that rare. I mean, Medic is the strongest class, right? Medic will push any team to victory, basically. So if you have a way of taking out that Medic and punishing that player, it's actually pretty interesting. It's pretty much one of the only sort of Medic counterplay weapons other than the Thompson. Well, it's the only one that feels satisfying to use, anyway. This terrible tactic, kind of like my Pyro Bomb terrible tactic, if you remember, if you're ancient back from those days, abuses the detonator, so using detonator jumps in order to get at people and kill the medics with these swings. And it works really well. The detonator is such an awesome weapon for attacking from range with a sort of mini rocket jump. If you want to learn how to do these detonator jumps, I'm not the best at them, so I'll provide a link to Vavly's tutorial in which they will show you how to do it. A really great tutorial. Check it out if you want to use detonator jumps. Now, while I love the third degree, this was a really challenging challenge to this terrible tactic. Basically, you have to deal with a few things that make this hard to pull off in pubs, and that is the lack of medics. If you end up on a server without a medic on the enemy team, you're basically just wielding the fire axe, which is pretty disappointing. Also, the medic needs to be healing someone, and this actually sounds, well, of course medic's healing someone. Medics always are healing people. Not true at all. These are pub medics we're talking about. So many situations I've had medics killed easily with the third degree with a crit, but they weren't healing anyone because they were too busy shooting a needle gun into a wall or staring blankly into the distance. It's weird. This tactic doesn't actually work very well against, well, bad medics, because if they're not healing anyone, you're not going to be able to get any damage done. Also, you saw there, crits will hurt you so much. It's kind of weird, this tactic relies on crits in order to do anything. The 65 damage swings generally won't be enough to take anything down, so you sort of have to pray for those 195 damage lucky shots. But at the same time, any medic that looks your way with a crit will be able to take you down with no effort at all, so it's really risky. But the reward, oh, it's so satisfying when you pull it off. Such a massive amount of damage to multiple players, and being able to take out 2 players with one melee swing is super cool. Unlike the Thompson, this weapon actually has a lot of counterplay that a medic can use to overcome it. Basically, all they have to do is just stop healing the target. They just take the medigun off, and it'll just be like a regular fire axe. Can't do anything to them, basically. But there's a risk to that. If you stop healing your target, then obviously the target's not getting heals and he'll die faster. It also means you won't be building Uber, so it's got a kind of like a risk-reward to it. A little bit of a dynamic there. Eventually, when I was playing, I did have medics wising up to the fact that I was using the third degree, and they would stop healing their targets and just run away, which was super frustrating because I wouldn't be able to pull off my awesome combo on them. However, most of the time in pubs, the third degree is such an underused weapon that most people will just fall for it and die anyway. Probably the thing I like the most about the third degree is just the fact that it's another option. I mean, if you're dealing with a player that's being pocketed and a combo that you just can't get rid of, usually you might want to go, I don't know, like Sniper. If you're ballsy, you might go Spy. You might try and maybe, I don't know, go Scout. But you usually have these few classes that you have to deal with these combo players. And these combo players are such a huge threat. And this is just one really unique way you can take them out and really punish them for constantly healing one person, which I think is really nice because a medic shouldn't be doing that anyway. So yeah, as I just said, the third degree has its really awesome moments, and that's when you're dealing with a heavily pocketed player, which means that it is not a weapon to be using all the time. And those of you who are with me in the stream will know that it was extremely frustrating to constantly be forced to go for third degrees in situations which would be far better just to use your shotgun or just use even an extinguisher, and I never thought I'd be saying that. After a while, the medic started wising up even more and popping Uber, which was even more frustrating. And the quick fix Uber is actually quite annoying as well, because it can often out-heal your damage with the third degree. And oh, you heard that hit. That medic should have been dead. Come on. Getting robbed all the time here. Unfortunately, it's only a matter of time before the third degree gets the solemn vow treatment. And what I'm talking about there is the fact that Valve doesn't really want any weapons in the game that are going to just be straight upgrades with no downsides at all. The Solemn Vow was a medic bone saw that let him see enemy health with no downside, and they added a 20% firing speed penalty. And while a firing speed penalty would be awful for the third degree, I've got a feeling there's going to be some sort of nerf. I hope it's something along the lines of less damage to players that aren't connected by a medi beam, something like that. So if you're using it as intended, it's not hurt. But yeah, it is just a weapon that's generally just got an upside and no downside. Although it does have a downside, the fact that it's not the power jack, which is a pretty big deal, honestly. If you're going to support this tactic even more, go a little bit more in depth, it works really awesome with the crit scree, because you don't always get those random crit swings that you feel like you deserve after doing so much damage, so getting a guaranteed swing is awesome. Also, things like any kind of medigun, like the quick fix especially, because air blast is a massive counter to you, and all kinds of knockback will mean you can't get in there and finish off those medics, which is super frustrating. And there we have it. The third degree, while a criminally underrated weapon, can be really awesome in some situations, but definitely not good all of the time. Well, that's all I got for you right now. Catch you guys next time.